My dear friends in Christ Jesus, greetings to you all. In this episode, I answer to the question, do the Code of Eastern Churches have the same principles of the Penal Code of the Latin Catholic Church? My dear friends, there are similarities as well as differences between the Code of Eastern Catholic Churches and the Code of the Latin Catholic Church in the matter of penal law. Number one, more elegantly than the Latin Code, the Eastern Code opens the title on penal sanctions with the biblical image of the sheep and the advice of the Apostle Paul to reprove, rebuke, and exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. The Eastern Code proposes the betterment of the offender as the main aim of ecclesiastical penalties. In this sense, it is more medicinal than the Latin Code. The Eastern Code does not make any distinction between medicinal penalties and expiatory penalties. As a result, there is no category of expiatory penalties as such in the Eastern Code. Number two, the Eastern Code also abolishes the late sententiae penalties as they are contrary to Eastern legal traditions. Number three, the Eastern Code considers penalties not only as privation of a good but also as the imposition of a positive act that can contribute to improving the offender, for example, certain prayers, a pious pilgrimage, a special fasting, and spiritual retreat. This aspect is also very medicinal since the medicine has to be taken and cannot just consist of abstention. Number four, the Eastern Code uses a different terminology for penalties. The Latin penalty of excommunication is equivalent to the Eastern penalty of major excommunication. The Latin penalty of interdict is equivalent to the Eastern penalty of minor excommunication. Number 5. A specific penalty of the Eastern Code is the demotion of a cleric. The penalty consists of prohibiting him from exercising those acts of the powers of orders or governance that are not consonant with this grade. Number 6. The Eastern Code has no place for perpetual penalties. Number 7. Some offences of the Latin Code have no parallel in the Eastern Code, such as the Canon 1372 of the Latin Code, which, to protect the supremacy of the Pope, punishes a person who makes recourse against an act of the Roman Pontiff to an ecumenical council or the College of Bishops. The offense of trafficking in mass offerings, sexual abuses committed by clergy with a minor or by force, and the violation of the obligation of residence have no counterparts in the Eastern Code. Number 8. Another important feature of the Eastern Code in relation to the Latin Code is that it is more effective in protecting against potential arbitrariness. For instance, the Eastern Code contains no canons like the Canon 1399 of the Latin Code, which, in some circumstances of special gravity, allows punishing a violation even if no canon explicitly penalizes the wrong. The principle of legality, that is, no offense without law, is taken more seriously in the Eastern Canon Law than in the Latin Code. Number 9. The Eastern Code is more consistent in separating internal forum and external forum, even with regard to remission of penalties. So, for instance, The Canon 725 of the Eastern Code allows any priest to absolve from any sins of any penitent in danger of death, and the Canon 976 of the Latin Code allows any priest to absolve not only sins but also censures against all penitents in danger of death. Number 10. The term imputability has been omitted in the Eastern Code with the aim of keeping the separation between internal and external forms and avoiding the more than questionable presumption of imputability as per the paragraph 3 of the Canon 1321 of the Latin Code. Finally, number 11, the same criticism of the Latin Code for allowing wider discretion based on pastoral reason can also be made of the Eastern Code. The judge can defer imposition of a penalty to a more opportune time, abstain from imposing the penalty, moderate the penalty when the offender commits several delicts, and suspend the obligation of observing the penalty. This discretion is also present in indeterminate penalties, which allow punishing with an appropriate penalty which is not determined although limited. Thanks for watching. See you again.